Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever you are tuning in from. Welcome to Mentor Monday. It's one of the most exciting days of the week for me. And I'm sure for everyone when you're here to listen to our mentor. But before I pass it over to the mentor, I want to introduce my lovely co-host, Marty. Marty, are you in?
Hello, how are you, everyone? Good morning.
Fine, thanks. You're well. Kindly tell us a little about yourself and what you love about For Life.
Okay. First, I'm very happy to introduce to be here with Dave and you and everyone, Kenya. And
Loud and clear.
okay, I love For Life because of I can say I love community. Like I said before, I'm not sure if you remember me. People and and having more friends all over the world. I love that too. And I always, since I was very young, maybe 7 years old, I discovered, maybe before, I love selling, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like joy doing that. I felt, sorry, in Venezuela. I'm from Venezuela, Caracas. The little things, we sold jewelry or second-hand jewelry. My mother used to do like a little artesanía, I don't know how to say in English, like a little clay figures. We used to sell things on the market and the school. It's typical there. It's good because we learn about that. And later, some things like a garlic, I don't know, things like that. I said, wow, I really want to do that in my life. And I think For Life is everything that I was looking for in my life, like a community, selling, helping others. Yeah, and like I can
amazing,
say
that's lovely. You have quite a background in selling, and that's really interesting to hear. Because we always meet here, we don't know much about each other, but it's always good to share so that we get to know each other. And it's really lovely to even co-host with you this evening. And so because we are here to learn, we want to introduce our host for our mentor and our speaker for the evening so that we can start the Zoom. And so without further ado, let me introduce the host for the evening. Or you'd like to do it, Marty?
You can do it next time. Okay, another name. Thank you.
All right. All right, that's all right. So good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Bancy. I'm in Nairobi, Kenya. In Nairobi, it's evening. And we want to introduce our speaker for the evening. And I think we all know him, but differently depending on how much you've listened to him or how much you've read about him or how you relate to him. But to me, he's one of the people I look at and who does For Life so effortlessly. He makes it look so effortless until sometimes I wonder when I can't do it, what is the problem with me? Because it looks so easy. It's like he just woke up doing it. And so he's a very lovely person and a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, a business builder, social networker, life coach. He has so many hats on him, and he's at the end of the day, he's a very lovely person. So without saying much, our topic for the evening, is declare yourself. And when I saw the topic for the evening, I thought of a campaign that was in America in 2004 about bringing youths to register for them to vote. But then I remember this is For Life, this is not about voting, but that's where my mind went. But today we'll learn about declaring yourself in this business. And so without further ado, let me welcome our speaker for the evening, Dave Daughtrey. Welcome, Dave, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Bancy, and thank you, Maddie. I appreciate you opening up for us today. Yes, Mentor Monday, it is one of my favorite meetings that we have, our Zooms, because it's an opportunity for us to get together. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your background is, your experience. All that matters is that you're here, you're wanting to learn, grow, develop your business. And that's what this is about. Networking is so much more than 99% of the people really understand in this business. And that's why I see so many people come and go. You know, they jump in because they got excited about a company, a product. They really get excited about making money. And so when you throw that out there and get people really excited about making money, and they don't realize there's a process. There is a process to success, no matter what it is you're involved in, whether it's sports, music, academics, whatever it is, there's a process. And that process requires learning, growing, developing. Now, in our business, I love it because this process requires you to develop skills. You can lose things in life. You can lose money. You can lose health. You can even lose freedom. And we saw during COVID, we saw that happen. We really lost our freedom. Everybody was incarcerated in their homes. We had to cocoon, so you can lose all kinds of things. Nobody can ever take your skills. You'll never lose your skills, especially if you keep applying those skills. And that's why people ask me a lot, like, Dave, why don't you retire? You've made so much money. You've got a huge network all around the world. Well, you get to a point where you really understand purpose. And my purpose, it's much different than it was when I first began For Life, but that's what keeps me going. And that's what keeps me growing. And being an entrepreneur and a networker, it's what I do. It's like asking a famous musician, like let's say Paul McCartney, who all of you probably know Paul McCartney from the Beatles. When you tell him, when's he going to stop thinking about music? Never, the day he dies, because it's who he is, you see. So networking isn't just what I do, it's who I am. It's just part of my blood. It's me. So what I want to do now is go back and talk about my early days, because when I began For Life 25 years ago now, when I began For Life, my purpose was different. And Bancy, you mentioned that I make things look so easy. When I began For Life, it wasn't easy. Yes, I had some skills already because I'd been around networking for many years. I'd been around successful entrepreneurs. I learned from them. I had great mentors, great teachers, and all that I was able to apply to my new For Life business, you see. But it still wasn't easy. It required work. It required effort. It required my control of emotions, because trust me, a lot more people said no back then when I began than today. All right. Now, it may not be that way for you where you are, but since I've got like an eagle's view of everything because of my network around the world, when I began in just one market with one product, nobody ever heard about, the company was brand new. Everybody was questioning if the company's going to even survive, if they're going to make it, well, that's all history now. 25 years, rock solid, incredible company, incredible products. But let's go back to the beginning, because when I began For Life, I was putting a lot of my thoughts down in training, because I knew that in order for me to build the business, I had to take a leadership role, because there really wasn't many people to follow in For Life when I joined. I had an upline, but they were all doctors. And they're wonderful people. I love Dr. Robertson. I love Dr. Markowitz, a pediatrician. I love Dr. Townsend, oncologist. They're wonderful people, but they didn't understand the networking, the marketing side of this like I did. So I took what they educated me on Transfer Factor, made it simple, kept it really simple, because I didn't want to turn everybody into doctors. That's just not a duplicatable process. And I applied my leadership that I had learned through the years. So I had to present, because there really wasn't anybody else to present from a networking standpoint on the business opportunity. But I didn't have a market of people. You see, I had been through a crisis in my life. I had Crohn's disease. That took me out of the arena for a while. I was living in Rosarito Beach, Mexico, across the border. I'm in San Diego. I lived down across the border, going to a hospital. I was broke. I had no money. So I had to figure out ways to try to earn enough money to go. It was a holistic hospital, trying to find anything that would help me with my Crohn's disease. So I've been through a divorce. I was broke. I ended up losing my automobile. I lost my house. I lost everything. And you guys, I came from a position where in my 20s, I had a plane, I had a yacht, I had a Mercedes, I had a BMW, I had a house in Laguna Beach, right there close to the beach. I mean, I was living the dream. Well, the company I represented went down in flames. And it broke my heart. And then I got Crohn's disease and it became really sick and my whole world was turned upside down. So when I started selling things off and losing things, my house was foreclosed on, means the bank took it back. So when all that happened to me, I started doubting and questioning even myself and my abilities. My self-esteem dropped really low. So basically when For Life came along, I was at the bottom. And I would tell some of my friends, I'd say, you know what, there's only one place to go, and that's up. I don't think I can go any lower. And so I joined For Life, and I wrote something down in the beginning called ABCs. So I want to begin today talking about ABCs. Every one of us has to apply these ABCs if you really want to succeed. Okay, A stands for action. You can write that down. A means action. Nothing will happen in your life unless you take action. Now, in For Life, the action means, well, you're going to put together a little plan. You're going to have to talk to people. That's how we get paid. Marketing, word of mouth marketing. Action means you might have to learn how to present. Then you have to present. You got to, like I said, talk to people. That's what we get paid to do. But nothing happens unless you take action. Now, I've seen people take action, but they really don't do the letter B. Believe. They don't believe in what they're doing. And I understand. We all begin with faith. Not all of you are making a $10,000 a month check every month. If you were, your belief level would be through the roof, but you can get there. Trust me. I've got so many people that have gotten to that level in For Life. All right. But they had to work at it. They had to develop and network. They had to take action, but you have to believe in your company, believe in your product, but also believe in yourself, believe in your ability to grow and develop and become a superstar. Every single one of you, all of us, can be superstars. Okay, so you have to believe, B. Then there's a letter C. C stands for commit. I'm going to do something here real quick. Karen, can I make you co-host if you don't mind? Unless you are co-host. Are you co-host? Actually, who's the host here? I am a co-host. I just want to make sure that someone else can mute.
I can do it.
Mute as people come in. Let's make sure everyone's muted upon entry. They are, and then we mute them out when just if there's any microphones that open up. Thank you. So the letter C stands for commit. You have to make a commitment. All right. You can't just put one toe in the water and say, you know what, I'll give this a little try. If you're going to do it, do it. That means go ahead and put your list together of people that you know, use your social skills. And if you don't know how to present yet, use your upline. That's what upline is for. Upline serves the downline. That is key in this business. Okay. You serve your people as they get involved. All right. And then the other attitude should be for all of us. If it is to be, it's up to me. We look in the mirror. All right. In other words, you don't depend on your upline for your success because ultimately it's up to each one of us. But at the same time, it's wonderful to have an upline that's there to support, to inspire, to motivate, to mentor, all those things, to teach. But then you want to do that as well. That's what you duplicate, upline serving the downline. And that's a commitment. Now, there's another letter I discovered. I want to share with you what happened, how I discovered this letter. And some of you might have heard this story, so please be patient with me. I'd been in For Life for a couple of months, and I was working the telephones, calling people. Back then in 1998, we didn't have none of this Zoom and no Facebook, no Google. Hotmail was just basically going. That was about it. And so the telephone was my tool. And if somebody wanted to read information, fax. Anybody here have a fax machine? I got one sitting right next to me still. All right. Everything was done by fax. So I was calling people, working the phones, and I would say, Karen, do you know anybody that would be interested in starting up a new business? Working from home, working with a team, in health and wellness. And then, Eva Lise, do you know anybody? I was always asking for referrals. Anybody know anybody? I'll talk to them. I'll talk to the next door neighbor's cat if I have to, because the cat will lead me to the owner. And that's basically how I started networking. All right. Well, one of my good friends, Hector Bermudez, who lived in my neighborhood. I was living at the border, by the way, right on the Mexican border in a place called Calexico, and right at the corner of Arizona, Mexico, and California. And a friend of mine, Hector, he would come over every now and then and knock on my little apartment door. By the way, the place I was living, I should show you all the picture of it. I've got it somewhere in my phone. It was bad. All right. It was just one little room, studio room. I had to heat the place if it ever got cold with the stove. I had no furniture, slept on the floor in a futon, on a little mattress. My neighbors were arrested for selling cocaine. It was a place that had like 8 units in it, little courtyard. It was dirty. It was horrible. Anyhow, that's where I started my For Life business. Hector came over one day and he said to me, he says, you know, he said, I can just tell you're going to be successful. He says, I see it in your eyes. I can tell your determination. You're just on the phone, just like, and I had a little headset with the microphone glued to my head. And he goes, every time I come here, you're on the phone, you're talking to people. So one day he shows up and he hands me keys to a car. He says, I'm going to give this to you because I know you would do the same favor for me if I ever needed it. And he gave me the keys to this Toyota Corolla. And he said, there's a car in the back alley and I'm giving it to you, it's yours. Now, what he did was he took some of his pension money, all right? It's called a 401k over here in the States. He took some money out, got this car, and he gave it to me. And it was a little Toyota Corolla, small car. And he said it was red. We went out back and I cried. I just couldn't believe somebody would do that for me. And I looked at the car and it was kind of funny because it was tomato looking because it had sat in the sun for so long, it was opaque. So it really wasn't red, it was tomato. And I called it my little tomato. You know, I thanked him, I gave him a hug. So now I got a car. I can go out and I can do meetings with people and I go to houses and do a home presentation. I can meet someone at the cafeteria or the local mall and sit down and talk to them. So I was really excited about having this car. Well, I didn't have the car for very long, just a couple of weeks. Christmas Day, I went and bought a little present for my daughter. This is in the early days when the checks that we get from For Life, they were paper checks. So you get a paper check in the mail. I called them an onion check. You peel them open and you cry. You know, they're small. They're small checks. I was happy if the check was, $300, $350, $400. I bought my daughter a little present and I was taking it to her. And it was Christmas morning, about 7 in the morning. I'm driving down the street in my little town where I lived. And it's a custom that the street I was driving down, all the homeowners there, they put these candles on Christmas Eve in these little bags and they put them down the street. Well, as I drove down the street, it looked so beautiful. It was still, the sun was coming up. These candles were still lit. And I was looking and I thought, wow, this is really nice. I wasn't paying attention. I drove through a stop sign. The only other person driving in the town that day was driving a minivan, this lady, and she smashed right into me on the driver's side, smashed the door in completely. And I was hit really hard. Actually, it hurt my neck. That's fine. I had to climb out the passenger side because my side was smashed in. I went and checked, made sure she was okay, and she was fine. Well, the police came. The police officer says, "Merry Christmas." That's really the first thing he said. He's trying to be a little bit humorous about it. We were all okay. Well, I got back in that car after everything was all done with the police officers, and I could drive it because she hit me perfectly between the two wheels. Now, the problem was the driver's seat was smashed over, so I had to drive it like this, but I could drive. Well, for 6 months, I drove that car climbing in and out of the passenger side. Water would leak in the top when it rained because the door was open on the top when it got hit. I had to put tape, that duct tape, that gray looking tape. So here I am. How am I going to go talk to people about success and building a network and making a lot of money when I'm getting in and out of the passenger side of my little smashed up tomato car? So I went back to the phones, started working the phones. Well, after a couple of months, one day, something happened. I had to go shopping during the daytime. I would always do any shopping at night when it was dark, so nobody would see me climbing in and out of the car. Well, I've been doing it for a few months now. It's about third month. There's a console in between the two seats of a Toyota Corolla. Well, I'm not a light guy. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy. Climbing out of that car was not an easy thing to do. Trying to, get the steering wheel doesn't go up and down. So I had to figure out a good way to escape from the driver's side. Well, one day I went shopping in the daytime. I had to go. I parked far away from the front door so nobody would see me. And all of a sudden, this minivan pulls up next to me. I don't know why she did, but a lady pulled up next to me. She gets out of the car and walks away. And I'm thinking, just wait till she gets, she leaves and then I'll get out of the car. As soon as she left, I start to make my escape. I put all my weight on that console. And as I'm climbing over it, it broke. And I face planted in the seat next to me. And I look up through the window and there's 3 kids in that minivan laughing, watching me try to, like a fool, try to get out of this car. Well, something happened to me that day. There's 3 strong emotions that I felt. One, I felt sad. How can this be happening? I don't know if this has ever happened to any of you, but you wonder, you start doubting, how could this happen to me? Here I am trying to build this business. I'm broke. I just, things going wrong. People aren't listening to me. All these why. Well, I don't dwell on that stuff. So that went by quick. Number 2, wanted to strangle those kids because they were laughing at me. Can't do that either. So just ignored that. And the third emotion, I just looked up and I said, God, Heavenly Father, whatever it takes, whatever I have to do, as long as it's legal, I'll do it. I'll work hard. I'll pay the price. I'll do what I have to do to establish my place, to achieve my goals and my dreams, not just for me, but for my child, my future family. And I did something that day that was different. I discovered the letter D, you guys. D stands for declaration. I made a declaration to myself and to my Heavenly Father. I declared that I am going to do this. Well, a declaration is stronger than a commitment. Here in the United States, we have something called the Declaration of Independence. You can't change it. You can't change a declaration. Once you make that declaration, that's it. It's beyond commitment. And so that's why I chose this today to talk about, declaring yourself. And what does it mean to declare yourself? It really all begins up here in your head. All right. Every single one of us has potential. We have the potential to learn and to achieve, to develop, to grow, but that requires change. And sometimes those changes can be a little painful. And it's not physical pain, it's emotional, because you've got this resistance, in basically in life, we all have, there's resistance in anything. There's competition, there's naysayers that are negative. Well, the challenge is many times we go to the people that we know, that we care about and we love, because we want to tell them about For Life, about Transfer Factory. We want them to be excited, and then they're not. So all of a sudden that affects us, affects our mindset. We get this resistance, and sometimes they even look at us and they say, are you stupid or what? What are you doing that for? I've seen so many people give up on their dreams because they're influenced by someone who has no clue about this business. They really don't know much about health and wellness, nothing about Transfer Factor, but yet they tell someone it doesn't work, and then they believe them. So first of all, it all begins up here. You have to really think logically in that when someone's negative, what do they know? And I had a guy tell me, one of my mentors when I was growing up, he said, many times you look at that person, ask yourself, do you want to be like them? And I'll tell you, like 90% of the time, the answer for me has been, no, I don't. Because what do they know? They're not financially independent. They're not rich. They're not wildly successful. They're still working the same job that they've had for the last 20 something years. So it begins with the mindset. All right. But to declare yourself means also at some point in time, you have to lead so others can follow you. But first you have to follow. You have to be a follower first to be a leader. That's just the way it is. Now, you might have leadership capabilities. I just talked to a guy this morning. The guy had 20,000 plus people in a network, and the company failed him. It was a Brazilian company called Hino They. They were marketing perfumes, colognes, It was network marketing perfume company, and it exploded. They got to $1 billion in sales. They're gone. History. He had over 20,000 people in his network, and he's not given up on network marketing because he knows it works. He's seen it work. It's about having the right home. All right. Now, a guy like him, he already is a great leader. He's got so many people he developed in his business, but he still has to be a follower in For Life because he has to learn our product, our culture. All right. Every company has a culture. You know, For Life's culture, we always say together building people. All right. So the product, culture, the pay plan, system, you know, how we work together, how you fit in and integrate. All right. So, and that's something that he seems to be willing to do. I talked to him on the phone last week, and and I really like it when you talk to someone who's been quite successful and yet they're humble, because that means that they're willing to learn. He said, I'm looking forward to learning from you, Dave. And I thought that was wonderful that he said that. Doesn't mean that I'm better than him or he's better than me. It just simply means that in order to lead, if you want to be a good leader, you have to learn. And to learn, you have to listen to others. To listen to others means you have to follow to start out. All right. Now, declaring yourself also means that you have to dedicate, you know, a portion of your life towards building your dreams, towards building your For Life business. So have all of us carved out that time of our life that we're going to do it, or are we just making it a hobby? There's a difference. If you've declared yourself, it's not just a hobby. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be part-time. Don't get me wrong. You can have your full-time employment, or your other business. But when you're doing For Life, you've seriously carved out, you have basically said, I declare that this time, all right, in my life, I'm going to dedicate to building my future, building my business. Otherwise, it's just playtime. It's like, oh, I got some time here, you know, talk to somebody now and then. And if that's what you're doing, fine. If you work it as a hobby, expect to have hobby-like success. All right. Now, having said that, I want to mention one thing. There is an element of mystery that I think is very important here. And that's what makes this business so wonderful. Okay. You could be a first-time fisherman and go fishing and walk up. There's a professional right down there, just a few meters away from you, fishing, professional fisherman, not catching anything. And you're a brand new person, walks up to the lake and you cast out your hook with some bait on it. Bam, you catch a big fish. It happens. Same way in this business. You might say, oh, I'm just going to do it as a hobby, and you plant a seed, and just so happens you get a big fish. That's what happened to the guy in Brazil. He got to over 20,000 people. That whole team, their sponsors never done network marketing before. It just happened to be someone who talked to someone and caught their interest. So I don't call that luck at all. It's not luck, because the harder you work, the more seeds you plant, the more people you talk to, the luckier you get. It's called the law of averages. That's how it works, you see. But if you've declared yourself, that means you're going to take this business seriously. Okay. I love that message. I don't know who put it out there. It's for somebody in Kenya, put that message of the woman saying, you don't show up for your online meetings. You don't show up for your live meetings. You don't show up at all. And you say the business doesn't work for you. Sister says, I need to check your temperature. What's wrong with you? You know, and so it's true. You have to declare yourself. All right. Now, let's talk about the pain of change. I went through that when I was learning this business. All right. I was a quiet, highly intimidated person. I was intimidated, especially by adults, anyone older than me when I was in my 20s. I was just intimidated. I thought if you were 30, you were old. You know, here I'm 63, you know, and so I really grew up, you know, quiet and shy, but I listened to others and I would watch them speak. And I would just think, man, they look so good. They're so polished and just professional, you know, and I would be embarrassed if I said the wrong thing. So I always filtered everything. I've got this big filter where I try to filter what I say. What I think and what I say are two different things always. All right. And so, but I would take bits and pieces from all these pieces of people I learned from, because I realized everybody has something to offer. So all of you that are listening, when you hear someone else, whether it's Maddie or Bancy or Trisha or Karen or Claudia, anybody, take what you like and apply it to you. It could be the ABCs you just heard me say: action, believe, commit, and then D is declare yourself. Take that and apply it when you're talking to your people and you're getting them involved, you're working with them, all right? Or the one-liners that I always use: it's easier to give birth than raise the dead. If it is to be, it's up to me. You know, things like that. You know, so I would listen to all these things. I am not good at making things up. I got really good at being a copycat, listening to others, taking bits and pieces, memorizing them, putting them in my pocket, and pulling them out and using them when necessary. All right. And so I was following for a long time until something happened. Now, you talk about pain of change. Another story. Friday night, I'm young, 22 years old, probably now going on 23. My mentor, Joe, my first mentor in this industry, calls me up on a Friday night. He says, David, what are you doing? And I says, I'm getting ready to go party, Joe. I'm going to go out with my buddies. We're going to have fun. It's Friday night. Single guy, going to go have fun. He says, put a tie on, a jacket. I'm going to pick you up. I'm taking you to a seminar. And I said, Joe, it's Friday night. Come on. He says, David, I'm picking you up. I'll be there in 30 minutes. He shows up at my house. I tell my buddies I can't go. Here's the first resistance I got from my friends. You're what? You're going to some stupid seminar? Come on, man. It's Friday night. All right. Don't let us down. Well, I let him down. I went with Joe. So Joe takes me to this seminar, hands me the ticket when I got in his car. And I look at the ticket and it's row 1. Okay, row 1. Nice. We get there. There's over 500 people, I guess, at this. It wasn't a huge venue, but it was nice. It was full. Went in, sat down, row 1. Excuse me, my Odin's over here. Odin, hey, hang on, you guys. Sorry. I think Amazon is here. Sorry about that. So lost my train of thought there. So I sit down in row 1. Next to me comes and sits down right on my right. Joe's on my left. This man sits down and his hair was going white. And next to him sat a man whose hair was quite gray. And next to him sat a bald man. And the first man reaches over to me and he says, what's your name, young man? And I said, my name's David Daughtrey. And he shakes my hand. He goes, nice to meet you, David. My name's Jim Rohn. I don't know who Jim Rohn was. You know, didn't have a clue. Next to him, reaches over to the man and he says, David, nice to meet you. My name's Zig Ziglar. Never heard of Zig Ziglar. I thought it was kind of a funny name, Zig. And next to him reaches over a guy, shakes my hand, reaches way over. He says, David, I'm Mark Victor Hansen. Good to meet you. Now, I learned later who Jim Rohn was, who Zig Ziglar was. Mark Victor Hansen, he's been the co-author with Jack Canfield for all those books, Chicken Soup for the Soul. Have you ever read those? So those are the 3 speakers that night. That night changed my life. It changed my life, listening to them and the things they were saying. And Jim Rohn said something to me that really, really caught me. He said, young man, I don't know what company you represent. He says, but I just want to give you a challenge, piece of advice. And I said, okay. He says, every single meeting, every seminar, every convention, every rally, attend every single one of those that you can, because some will change your life and you don't know which ones they are. And it's true. Do you guys excuse me? I'm going to close my door here. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. All right, we're back. Had to close the door. So I was attending every event, every meeting I could, because I learned from so many of those. And it helped me grow and develop into becoming a networker. Well, there's only one thing that really, really I was afraid of, and that was speaking in front of people. I was really good with my peers, people that were my age, and really good with people younger than me. I felt that I could have more influence over the younger people. Well, I'm 22, going on 23. So talking to 22-year-olds and 18, 19, 20-year-olds, I felt like, man, I can talk to them. I can lead them. I can mentor them. There's only one problem. They're kids. And they just don't have the same forward thinking and drive in business. And so one night my life changed. And this is when another night that the letter D really applied to me in declaring yourself. My mentor, Joe, the same one that invited me to the seminar, he noticed I was really good at bringing kids to come to the meetings, but I wasn't having any business. Now, is that happening to you guys? Maybe you talk to people and you're good at talking to some people, but nothing happens. They don't do anything. Well, he looked at me and he said, David, I'm going to give you a challenge. I don't want you to come back to the weekly opportunity meeting. Now, keep in mind, this was not on Zoom. This was having to show up live at a hotel room to attend the meeting. And I enjoyed it. I loved going to the Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday morning training. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, opportunity meeting, 7:30 p.m., and then 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, training. I was at all of them. And Joe says to me, you're not going to come to another meeting unless you can bring somebody older than you. They have to be older than you, all right, an adult, and then you can come. Well, I missed the next couple of weeks. I was upset. I was frustrated, and it really bothered me because Jim Rohn says, go to every meeting. And then I got my mentor telling me, don't come to any meeting. Well, finally, I showed up. I had 4 adults with me, 4 adults older than me. And I picked some of them up to make sure they'd come, because that's another thing I was told. Pick them up, go get them, go pick them up. And I did. We show up at the meeting. I was so proud of myself. We sat in the very front row. I'm thinking, I'm going to get an opportunity presentation. I want them to hear it. And I'm going to give my testimony, you know, how I feel about this business. Well, guess what? 15 minutes go by after we're supposed to start. It's going, 7:45. The speaker doesn't show up. 8 o'clock, speaker's not there. 8:15, not an hour. They're not there. People are leaving, of course, now. So I did something I never thought I would do. And it was painful, you guys. I stood up in front of this room of people. And I don't know, there might have been by now, probably about 60, 70 people. And I said to them, ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Daughtrey. I'm going to give your presentation tonight. And I just started talking. I was shaking. My knees were trembling. I thought I was going to pee my pants. I was so scared. It was crazy. And you know what? Funny thing. I did the presentation. I actually signed up a couple of people that I had invited. Not all of them, but 2 of them signed up. And I thought to myself, I could do it. Now, I don't remember to this day what I said. I didn't remember any of it. I just talked. And that's another thing I found out. If I just talk, I'll figure out what to say. Each time I talk, I get better and better and better. And Bancy, that's why it appears that I'm so good when it comes to presenting and teaching, because sometimes I just talk and I got I got a whole freaking tub full of information. I'm saying that I can grab things that I've learned over the years. So I just talked and I got good at presenting. And the crazy thing is later, about, I don't know, a month or so afterwards, everyone was asking for me to do the presentation. Can David do the presentation tonight? And I'm thinking, why are they all asking for me to do it? Apparently, they really like the way I present. But here's the thing I want to make, declaring yourself. You guys, I practiced. I practiced in the mirror. I practiced when I was driving. When I had a dog, I practiced with my dog. Seriously, I would always be thinking about my presentation. Company, product, opportunity. I talk to someone, I tell them about the company I represent, the products that I have, the products that I represent, and the opportunity that's there for them if they're interested. Those 3 things constantly. Now, sometimes I'd mix it up, meaning that we might talk about the opportunity first. If that's the way the conversation began, like somebody's saying, oh, what kind of work do you do? Let's talk about business. I work from home. I make money working from home in the health and wellness industry. I have a product, very unique, called Transfer Factor. Have you heard of it? Well, 99% say no. I think I had one person one time say, I think I've heard of it, but they always say no. because transfer factor still is something that the average person has no clue what it is. So I tell them, I market it from home, and I tell them what the benefits are of the product. But the great thing is you can have international business right from home. We've got all the tools available. The cost to start your own business is very low, extremely low. And everything that you get from now, you get your cell phone app, you get your website. Back then, you didn't get all those things. But I might start with the opportunity if that's the way the conversation began. Or I could start with the product. If they say health and wellness, if they immediately say, well, you know what? My mom suffers from fibromyalgia. Well, now I know we're going in the direction of products. All right. But here's the point. Because you've declared yourself, because you're on the calls, because you're listening and learning and growing, you're paying attention, you're taking all these things and you're putting all that information up here. And I call them bullets. You use what ammunition that you have for that particular individual. You're not going to pull out an elephant gun when you're talking to like a rabbit. You'll annihilate it. What I mean by rabbit? Well, let's say I'm talking to someone and I can tell that they're very timid and they're very, maybe just, someone who's just unsure of a lot of things or whatnot. I'm not going to blast them upside the head, with something, or let's just say that they're talking about something to do with health and wellness. I'm not going to blast them with the opportunity yet. You see, you use what ammunition you have available. Now, if you're talking to, let's say like this guy with 20,000+ people, Renato in Brazil, with him, I had to pull out my big guns. I had to show him, look, I've been doing it. I'm a leader. I've declared myself, so you can learn from me. I'm here for you. Now, he's never hardly called on me, to teach him much yet. But guess what? I checked in on him on Friday, and I asked one of my people in the downline, because he's like on my 9th level. I said, how's Renato doing? I asked Leandro. Leandro says he's in a presentation right now with Ailton. Ailton's teaching him about transfer factor. And I'm like, yes. You see, that's a good follower that's going to be a great leader. He's learning about transfer factor from someone who's really good about talking about transfer factor. But then the thought went through my head, I hope Ailton isn't going to try to turn him into a doctor, because Ailton has all kinds of testimonies on products, how he's even has pictures of people with diabetes that were going to get their feet cut off, saved it using transfer factor. Testimonies are wonderful, but don't try to turn someone into being a doctor. Don't start getting into the Dalton weight of the molecule. Don't get into the T cells and B cells and NK cells and macrophages and all the immune cells. All right. It's okay to know that stuff, but you don't have to understand it to start the business, especially when you got 20,000 people in a network looking for a home. Let's get on them and get them all to come and listen. All right. You don't have to know it all before you go and do something. Anyhow, the point is this. I was really happy to hear that. All right. That's what Ailton was doing a presentation. So he's a good follower, turning into a good leader. All right. So let's kind of review here real quick. Declaring yourself. You're serious about the business. You're going to do what needs to be done. You're going to go through the changes you need to make. And if that change requires you to change even simple things, that may be simple to a lot of us, but difficult for you, it could be how your appearance is. I mean, if I showed up to meetings, live meetings and Zoom meetings, and I was wearing a tank top, my chest hair hanging out, unshaved, is that an image of someone who has declared themselves to be successful? There's nothing wrong with tank tops. I'll wear it to the beach, but I'm not going to wear it to a For Life convention. Now, I did have a distributor once that told me he'd never wear a jacket, a suit coat. He says, I just don't wear suit coats. That was Dave Phillips. I can say his name. He passed away. Dave Phillips. When he joined For Life, he was approaching 70. It's probably in it 65 to 70, because he made it 20. So yeah, he probably died about 85 years old. David showed up one day wearing a suit. Well, yeah, he's a gold international diamond now, making over $100,000 a month, and he changed. He went from being a guy that would never wear a suit. He played a banjo all the time, a fun guy, to becoming really serious about the business. But my point is this: you declare yourself. So you get serious about it. Whatever changes you need to make, you're willing to make those, to learn, to develop, to grow, to declare yourself. Now, having said that, I want to talk about resistance, you guys. Unfortunately, the people that are supposed to love us the most, family and friends and neighbors, they're going to be the hardest on you because they know you. And unless you've been wildly successful, like Renato in Brazil, all right, he can call anybody up and they're going to listen to him because he was making 40,000 US dollars a month and he know they. So when you're making, $500,000 a year in a company, you've established credibility. They're going to listen to you. All right. But for most of us, even me, when I started For Life, nobody wanted to listen to me, and you get resistance. All right. Well, the people that are supposed to care about us end up saying, what are you doing that for? Or, you talk to them and you expect them to at least buy a product and they don't. So I would play this card when I would call family and friends. I started a new business. I want to tell you about it. First thing I would say. And if they care about me, they're going to say, oh, what is it? If they don't care about me, they're going to say, I don't want to listen to you. I never had a friend or a family member tell me I don't care about you. So they'll listen just to at least be nice. Now I need to apply my skills. Have I taken the time to learn a little bit so I can tell them and not just be like, oh my God, that's it. This is enthusiasm. Look, enthusiasm is a good part of the formula, but it's not the formula. Knowledge is the formula. So I took the time to listen and learn about our company, just a few bullet points. And there wasn't much to say about For Life because they were a new company. So I had to talk about David Lisenby. Number 2, the product, transfer factor, all right? Recognize, respond, remember threats. Only thing in the world, only thing out there. There's no drug, no vitamin, no mineral, no herb that educates the immune system. Transfer factor educates the immune system, teaches it to identify threats. So now your immune system can do its number 1 job, which is to recognize those threats and eliminate them. Only thing there is. And that's all we had, transfer factor. There was nothing else. So I'm telling about transfer factor, the benefits, and then the power of networking, developing a home-based business, developing a network of people that all believe in health and wellness and financial independence, that want to learn, want to grow, creating a community. And that's what I did. So even my family and friends, I hit him as hard as I could, but I was learning. I was just starting. I fumbled my way through it. I just called it trans factor at first. I forgot to put the on the end of it. So it was trans factor, you see. Well, I learned and I grew, but here's what I really found out. My biggest growth in this business, when it comes to presenting, it'll happen within the first 60 days because I was presenting so much. I got better and better and better and better. And then I got better at identifying the person I'm talking to. And I realized if I talk about what they need, their needs, not my needs, not what Dave needs, but what they need, if I focus on that, they'll listen to me. If I just focus on what I need, I may lose them. I learned that along the way. So all that comes down to, again, if you declare yourself, you're going to go through these changes, and don't pay attention to the people that don't care. If they don't care about you and your future and your financial independence and whatnot, fine, you continue moving on. Last thing I want to mention is this: family, friends, neighbors, the people that know you can judge you. They know who you are. They know whether or not you've been wildly successful in the past. And if you're at an age now in life where they say, I haven't done much in the last 40 years, what's going to make this any different? All right. And it's true. That's how they look at us. They looked at me the same way when I was first beginning. Okay. So what I found is when you're talking to people who don't know you, they can't judge you. If you declare yourself, which means that you're going to talk to people that are strangers, completely different than you talk to the people that know you, because you can come from a position of strength. You see, you can tell them what you believe and you can apply what you've learned. They don't know the difference. They don't know if you just joined For Life yesterday, or if you're an intergalactic diamond #1 in the company and you've made $100 million. They don't know the difference. It's all how you are up here. So if you talk to them like you're a platinum, you act like you're a platinum, you present like a platinum, you apply your platinum skills, guess what? You're going to start sponsoring people and you're going to get to being a platinum. You'll get there. It's inevitable. I've seen it time and time again with all the platinums I have in my organization. I have a lot of them now. Over 206 millionaires now in my organization. So again, it all comes down though to declaring yourself about all these things. You're a good follower in the beginning, but you're going to turn that around quickly and become a good leader. You're going to start talking to people. You're going to talk to family, friends, and neighbors, understanding that many of them will judge you, but you're also going to apply your skills with strangers, somebody you just may meet. I didn't meet anybody at the beach yesterday. The beach has always been a good place for me to talk business, but yesterday just didn't happen. Sometimes you go fishing and you don't get anything. All right. So that's just the way it is. But I enjoy talking to strangers. I'm a curious person. What do you do for a living? I tell them what I do. I have we have 3 BMWs that we own here at our house. And one guy I ran into is the manager of a BMW right here where I live. And he says, yeah, bring your car in. I'll take good care of it for you and give you a good deal and service. Great. So sometimes you get people that do favors for you as you talk to them. So, but you're going to apply your skills and get better at it. All right. And then you're going to declare yourself someone who's also going to inspire, mentor, educate, motivate people, you see? And that's what this is all about, you guys. And I love network marketing. And there's one more thing I want to say before I forget here. We're in an interesting time. A lot of companies are struggling. Helena, I'll go ahead and pass you the microphone in just a second here. A lot of companies are struggling. Tupperware is now, looks like they're going to declare bankruptcy. Many of you have heard of Tupperware. Earl Tupper started Tupperware in 1946. And here they are now declaring bankruptcy. And that's because many companies are over leveraged. They're in debt and they can't pay their bills. They didn't prepare. They didn't plan. We need to be proud that we've got a company that has no debt, debt-free. Juness Network Marketing Company just went down. All right. Actually, they were sold. There's nothing more frustrating than being with a company and find out you're sold. You have a new name, new marketing plan, starting over again. Oh, I've been through that. It's horrible, horrible. All right. You know, so I see so many companies now struggling. 4Life's not. We're debt-free, strong company, multinational, conservative. And that's what keeps us going. And that's why when I talk to people that have been hurt from the past, I tell them, I said, look, you've already paid the price of learning networking. Networking and this business model never failed you, never has failed. It's a great business model when you have the right partnership. It's like marriage. If you don't have the right partnership in marriage, it's a struggle and it can fail. But when you have the right partnership, it's wonderful. You see, no, you can't say that the institution of marriage doesn't work, because it does work with the right partner. Same way in business, same way in network marketing. When you have the right partner, right company, right products, right team of people, right culture, a culture for growth, a culture that helps you develop and grow and change, that's what makes it work long term. All right. But we're going through a time right now where there's a cleansing that's happening, you guys. A lot of companies are struggling. Some are going to close the door. So keep your eyes and ears open. And when you talk to someone that says, oh, yeah, I was in such company, I've done network marketing, ask them what happened. Because chances are they don't really understand networking. They didn't have the right partnership. They didn't have the right upline, right team. Maybe they didn't have the right product. They might not even have the right culture. All right. I was in a company where the culture was that's why I got a plane and a yacht, by the way, because that's what you do. You go take your hard-earned money and you buy toys because it looks good. Horrible investment, bad investment, lost them all. But that's what I was watching others do. Who's got the best Ferrari? Who's got a Lamborghini? Who's got a Maserati? All right. So I just followed that trend, bad trend. There's nothing wrong with showing success. But at the same time, you've got to be logical about things, be smart about it for your future. So that company crashed and burned. And that's when I got Crohn's disease after that. So anyhow, keep your eyes and ears open. There's going to be a lot of people out there looking for a home. We've got, I feel, the best home in the world right now for people. Unique patented products, transfer factor products that change people's lives, bring value to their lives. Everybody looks for health and wellness. We've got an opportunity where they can make money. All right, whether it's a little bit of money or a lot of money, everyone will decide what they want. Your level of success is up to you. All right. And the timing is good. Recessions are good for our business. When the global economy is going through a cleanse and a recession, it's good for us, because now people are looking for a side hustle. They're looking for ways to make money. And I believe that the whole social media thing is going to be like the .com thing. Back in the 90s, the .com, everybody jumped in .coms. And then there was a cleansing and it flattened out. You're going to see the same thing with all, the social media influencers and all that. People are trying to make money that way and whatnot. But at the end of the day, there is no substitute for this, the human interaction of networking and applying your skills. Zoom is great. It's got a place. But for me, I prefer eye to eye. I call it belly button to belly button, being with people live, where you can develop the relationships. You can work with them. You feel the emotion. I don't feel it in a camera. I see all your faces. Actually, most of you, I just see a picture. I only see 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like a living room or a family dining room set. I see that, you see. So the point is, there's no emotion. So I've got to try. I had to adapt. I had to learn to apply my emotion into a camera. That's part of adapting. That's the changes we're talking about in developing and growing. But so, which is going to be better for me, because when I'm live in front of people, I think I'll be even more dynamic and it'll be fun, and I feed off of the energy off of people that I'm with. So with that, Helena, let me pass the microphone to you and we'll finish up today.
Thank you very much, David. And I really appreciate it. And I identify with you a lot with the old days, because I did a network marketing in the 80s, and I was very successful, and over a year. And it was, I can identify with you with the board and carrying my board everywhere,
Yeah.
And then less than a year, I was making over 15,000 to 20,000 a month, and it was good. But and then the company did something crooked, and everything went down. And I swear my life that never again will join, because I spent a year working hard to build that, because I have a purpose. I was married to an American and I got divorced, and he told me, "You're never gonna make it. You're an immigrant, and you're Mexican. You're not gonna make it." I say, "Sure, I do," and I did it. But and then I swear, and then I say, no, now whatever I make my own. I build my business, very successful. But then I lost it, and in the 2010, after 20 years, and then I got into the networking and to the nonprofit, and I formed a nonprofit serving. Now I'm just retired. But my retirement, I surprised it. All my money was applied to my ex-husband, and for disability, nothing is left for me.
Wow.
So here I am. I'll say, but I've been taking for life for 13 years, and
Nice.
I'm observing for life. And I see that there's more integrity than any company in the world. I've been in 2 conventions. I've been in meetings forever and rallies and everything, but I wasn't ready to break my block until I met my upline that I didn't know on top, a woman that I work with women all the time, that she was a servant. And I said, okay, here it is. We connect, it was click, and let's work. And
Nice.
I'm not afraid to talk to no one. I call un volante ambulante, a flyer that I talk to the stunts if I can, I don't mind. I have a problem that I need to ask you, because I need a mentoring on this. My challenge is the following, and the follow up, and also to control my prospects. I have a list of prospects. For me, I don't need to go to my people that I know. I talk to the lift, to the waitress, to whatever it is. But how to take keep a lot of goes under the cracks by not knowing how to control the follow-up and my prospects. You know that?
Let me share with you what I did. It's funny you say that, because I'm in my home office here,
Yeah.
And I was going through my drawers recently and I found this. Let me grab it here.
And by the way, I have the ABCD for
Nice,
sure.
nice. This is just a few of my notepads with all of my notes. And I've got notes of all the people I talked to. Now I'm a doodler, you guys. I
Yeah,
doodle.
me too.
So-
I have to be so like I
so
have to see. I
You
have
can
to
see all
write.
the doodling there, but there's notes, page after page of notes of all the people I talked to as I built. So I had a system that I did,
Yeah.
you know, and I would put notes here like call in 2 days. And these are from like 1999, you know, 22 years ago, 23 years ago. But page after page after page of notes along with my doodling, you know, but so this was my system. So I call people, talk to them, present to them, and then I would make a note whether I'm getting back with them in 2 days or I would maybe I put that they're cold, not interested, NI, not interested. Okay. But not interested to me always meant put them on the back burner. Okay. Atrás en la estufa. All right.
Because it's my other time.
And that's right. Just like with you. All right. Timing. The timing's not right. Okay. So I'll get back to them maybe in a month, 2 months, 6 months. All right. Now, we know there's an abundance of people out there. There's always someone we can talk to, always. So rule number 1, do not judge anybody because you don't know what's happening in their life.
It's true.
They could be going through tough times. It could be anything from an illness somebody in the family has to a divorce or relationship problems. And life is life. It's cyclical. It goes in circles. All right. So the point is that don't ever judge, but qualify. Meaning that if you like this guy in Brazil, all right, company failed him, over 20,000 people in his network. All right. He's going to find a home somewhere. So that's a person I want to be on, like white on rice. All right. So it's like making sure if I'm not talking to him, I'm messaging the downline. Has anybody talked to him today? Has anybody followed up with him? You know, and that's why I was so happy when they said Ailton is presenting to him. Right when I asked someone, they said, yeah, he's in a Zoom right now with Ailton. My point is this, is that the follow-up is critical. The fortune is in the follow-up. All right. So have a system. Have a system. You can use the 4Live app as your follow-up system. I don't know if you know this, but you can import your contacts from your phone into the app and you can swipe right, left. You can basically say hot, cold, or interested in becoming a customer, interested in becoming a prospect. So the app also helps you manage your prospects, your contacts.
Into the 4Live app.
Yes. Here, let me show you. Let me show you.
I will watch the video on Generation Network. I think they have
Okay. Yeah. You can, but yeah, you can talk to Upline. It's real simple. All right. You just there's a contacts tab in your El Panel Información, you know, in the panel. Okay. So have a system. Now, here's what I would do when I follow up with people. I always would try to follow up with good news. Good news. Now, good news is what you create, what you make of it. Let me give an example. I signed someone up in Tennessee. Okay. Now, I use my abilities to just, whether I sell one bottle or whether I sign someone up, that's progress. I just took a step forward. So if I followed up with someone, I would say something like, hey, Mary, just want to get back to you. You know, I'm still working hard. I'm excited. And I would sell myself, you guys. I would sell myself to the person too. Like, I've been working hard. I've got someone now in Tennessee. So now we're expanding. Business is growing. It's expanding. I was always giving them good news. When my business went to Puerto Rico. Now, I know you said Generation Networkers. That's Juan Rosado.
Yeah.
I went out there and worked with Juan, Herminio. I basically was the one that went out and supported them.
I know.
In the beginning. So when Puerto Rico, someone signed up, I've got an international business. So I could follow up with people and say, yeah, my business is in Puerto Rico now. So people would almost like a movie, watch Dave climb the mountain. Dave's climbing the mountain. Look at him go. Well, eventually some people would say, you know what? Like Hector, the guy that got me the car, he ended up joining because he said, Dave, I know you're going to get to the top. He says, I just want to come along for the ride. He says, I know you're going to do it. So people see your determination, which I can see with you, Helene, everything you were talking about, your past, you're determined. All right. So they saw me with a sense of urgency. I have urgencia. Okay. They see that. They know that I'm working hard. They know that I'm going to keep building. That attracts people. Success breeds success. So a word of advice, use, even if it's baby steps, every little thing in your business that grows. Maybe it's a builder bonus. Builder bonus. The company just paid you on sales from all over the world. Even though you don't have anybody in Russia, even though you don't have anybody in Korea, that, and you don't have to tell them it's $50. Okay, it's 50 bucks. So what? That's $600 a year, an extra $600 a year. A lot of people would take that, but you got that little bonus every month. The company paid you on business that you don't even have out there. So then I would ask the person, does your company do that for you? Do they give you a monthly bonus for their business around the world? You see, so I would always spin things by thinking, how could I share this? International, I just went, or back in the beginning, it was, across the country to Tennessee, to Washington, to Texas. When I got to diamond, I was telling everybody, I'm a diamond. I made diamond, and so I just spread the good news. Then then when I got on my first trip, all right, and then the trips got better and better. I mean, I got to where I was going to Russia. I've been to 106 countries, you guys. 106 countries, all paid for by 4Life. I mean, my gosh. So I would share. So share your success, even if it's baby steps. Okay, it's all up here. All right. So think about anything going on in your business, whether you sponsored a brand new person, all right, or you got a new client, you can share that with people. So that's what I did. But follow up, Helena.
Yeah, and I have a lot of stories because I've been taking the product for 13 years, and I'm going to be 70, and I never got COVID. I never got any vaccines, and I had more people during the quarantine than ever in my life because I'm helping people. So I have a good story, and for 7 years I was giving away everybody, all the customers to everyone. To everybody, just go to so he will give you the product. It was the product, so I didn't build it for me. I was building for everybody else.
Nice.
But I follow the stories, and I saw that they got well from cancer, from asthma, from this, from that. So I have stories, successful stories that
you got to get out and share it. And look, you've got the skills, you understand the business. You're very social, as I can just tell. How many of you here would love to be Helena's sponsor?
You have fun with me, that's for sure.
Your sponsor is very blessed, and so you bring to the table, great history. So now, and here's the beauty: you're going to be able to accomplish more because of your background, because of your experience, because of the stories, your 13 years of using the products. All of that now is going to enable you to compress time. You'll be able to accomplish more in a short period of time by just focusing.
Yeah, so now I need money.
And you know what? That's a good thing.
No, I need money.
For your future in networking, it's a good thing because it creates urgency.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Most people, if they're making, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 a month, the urgency isn't there.
I have a few dogs chasing me, so.
There you go. Nice. Well, congratulations. Look forward to seeing you on our calls, Helena. And everybody, thank you for joining in today. We've gone 15 minutes over our hour. We're trying to stick to 60 minutes. But Helena, thank you so much. You guys, is there anybody else that has any questions or comments before we close out? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Keep going, keep growing. Let's spread the word. It's a great time to be networking. It's a great time to engage in dialogue with people. So get out, let's talk and share. All right. So love you guys. Thanks a lot. All right. And we'll see you all again really soon. Bye-bye. We open up the mics here real quick. There you go. Share the love, share some energy. Let's go, you guys. Keep
Bye.
going, keep growing.
Elena,
Thank
you did
you.
great.
Thank you.
Awesome job, guys.
Thank you, Dave.
Bye,
Remember,
everyone.
Health Talk with Dr. Gina tomorrow.
Yes, Health Talk tomorrow. Health Talk tomorrow, Dr. Gina, it's on the calendar. Or talk to your upline if you want to get on that. Same time. Health Talk,
Same time.
Dr. Gina.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless.